I'm in the near $75,000 2023 Volvo XC60 Ultimate Recharge. Let's see what's under the hood, because that is what makes this vehicle so special and also so expensive. Underneath the hood is a 2-liter turbocharged direct injected 4-cylinder, which is responsible for over 310 horsepower itself. And quick pause, just look how high this hood opens. This is a potential like damaging thing if you open this in your own garage. But let's get back underneath the hood. We have this soft cover to the 2-liter, which is a sound deadener. And this plug-in hybrid has a large 18.8 kilowatt hour battery. Somewhere in the mid 30s is what Volvo is expecting you to get fully electric. I was able to get 47 miles of pure EV range, mainly driving in town, driving my kids to school. But the cool thing about this is if you want more power than just the 143 horsepower that the electric motor in the rear gives you, this 2-liter kicks in and you get a combined 455 horsepower and over 520 pound-feet of torque. If you run out of that electric juice, it'll just run like a normal hybrid, and you're able to get, well, at least in my testing, about 32 miles per gallon, which is pretty impressive. Closing this hood is quite a bit of a production here. Closes nice and solid. I love the looks of the XC60. Volvo's designs are in general pretty subdued yet classy and sporty at the same time. So this has the dark appearance on it, which is a no cost option. So you see the blacked out bits on the front. This being the Ultimate, we have 20-inch wheels on here. They look pretty cool. I'm not a big fan of two-tone wheels, and from every single angle the XC60 is just beautiful. Even the blacked out window trim and this dark theme blacked out side mirrors. If you get the light theme, you'll get paint match side mirrors, for example. We also have some blacked out garnishes at the bottom here. We got the D-pillar tail lights, which is iconic to Volvo SUVs, and interestingly they didn't black out the XC60 or the Volvo or the T8 lettering. But let's go ahead and get into the cargo area. Plenty of space inside, and I can also make it easier to get in and out with the optional air suspension in here. It's about $1,800 option. We'll talk about if it's worth it later. Underneath here is where you're going to find your charger. I have it plugged into my garage at home. Just plugged in overnight, charges it back up, no problem. I charged it for about 2-3 hours this morning. Was able to get about 11 miles of range in it, just in a normal household plug-in. Unfortunately, we don't have a traditional household plug-in for additional accessories, or if you wanted to run this as a generator or anything like that. I don't see that option here. To recharge the battery, it's right here in front of the driver door. Very easy to plug and charge. The seats fold down for additional cargo. I've been taking my kids to school, like I said. There's actually not a ton of space back here, but it is fairly similar to what I would say the XC90 is for the second row. I have a hard touch to the back of the seats, not the most luxurious. Pretty cheap netting on the back as well. USB-Cs in the back. We also have a drivetrain tunnel, or should I say a battery tunnel in this particular vehicle, because there's no drive shaft coming from the front wheels to power the rear wheels, because the rear wheels, like I said, are powered by an electric motor. Heated rear seats in this Ultimate. We don't have sunshades in here, which is a big missed opportunity in my opinion. And luckily, standard on every Volvo XC60 is this gorgeous panoramic sunroof. Before I get out, we have a couple vents leading to the back seat on the B pillars here. Nothing down here, so just one vent. It gets the job done. Now getting into the cockpit, before we do, we have these upgraded leather seats on this Ultimate package. They also have, what's my favorite thing about these seats is the thigh extender, and unfortunately for 75K we don't have like massaging seats either. With this nice wood trim, the materials in here are overall pretty good. The door does seem pretty basic for a $75,000 door if you ask me, but the Bowers & Wilkins sound system in here is about a $3,600 option. It's fantastic, one of the best in the industry, if not the best. Is it worth $3,600? Probably not, because this Ultimate has a nice Harman Kardon system standard. We also have a head-up display in here. We have a heated steering wheel, heated and ventilated seats. You activate them through the touch screen here. We have Google built in. It's a nice system that essentially replaces Android Auto on your phone. Volvo updated fairly recently Apple CarPlay to be used with this Google built-in system as well. 360 camera in here is pretty high quality. When you back up, It gives you the backup screen first if you want the 360 camera on top of it, or should I say instead of it, it gives you this screen, which I wish they would show you both at the same time. Unfortunately, they just show the sensors up top, and the sensors are standard on the base model. So steering wheel quality is typical Volvo. Pretty minimal, but still high quality. We have actual buttons here. They look touch capacitive, but they are physical buttons. I've been getting 33 miles per gallon. I don't know if you guys see that, 33 miles per gallon just in hybrid mode. And you also have the doubling of the Google Maps that pop in, and you can turn that off if you want. Pretty basic. Speedometer on the left, and then on the right you see this little droplet. That droplet lets you know when the gasoline engine will kick in to help power the car. A few things missing in here. I don't have a automated steering wheel motor. It's all manual, telescopic, and tilting, and I also don't have a wireless charger in here. So those are things I'm like just are blowing my mind here in a $75,000 vehicle that I don't have. Luckily for $75K, I have memory seats for the front, and I also have rain sensing wipers in here as well. Also, the ultimate package gets you the beautiful crystal shifter made in Sweden. Inside the armrest, we have a couple USB-Cs in here, a little bit of storage, but like I said, no wireless charger, but you have the wireless charger for your keys. If you don't need the storage, you can have more wood at your disposal, or should I say for eye candy there, but most people are probably going to leave this open most of the time, and just a tiny little hidden compartment here as well. Now I want to talk about the driving modes in here before we actually get driving. There's a lot of different driving modes: hybrid, power, pure. Pure is pure electric mode, and you can enable that to start the vehicle in that mode every single time with this option. You also have an off-road option and constant all-wheel drive. You can also tell the vehicle what to do with the battery. There's an auto mode, which will kind of run like an electric car, but also use the gasoline engine to help out at times. There's the hold, which is more of a traditional hybrid, and it will keep the range plugged in at where it's at. So I have 10 miles of range. I use the hold mode to come out here so it wouldn't dip into this range, and that's important for other countries around the world where it's important to drive in fully electric mode in town. And then you also have a charge mode, which will kick on the gasoline engine and charge the battery for you. Since this has the air suspension, when I put it into power, the vehicle starts lowering itself and stiffening itself. I also like to keep the creep mode off because this does drive like an electric car in battery mode, which I prefer driving it in. Let's do a 0 to 60 in electric mode only, or also known as pure mode. The tricky part is going to be keeping the power meter underneath the little fuel drop in the corner. 3, 2, 1, and go. Let's go. 143 horsepower. We're gonna get there. And there's 60. 13 and a half seconds to get to 60 miles an hour in pure mode, electric only. Remember, it's only about 143 horsepower, and this vehicle is heavy, being that it's a plug-in hybrid with a big battery, a gasoline engine in it as well as a fat electric motor in the back. So what's impressive about the acceleration though is in town, like it's 0 to 30 is really impressive, and that's what's most important in town, is getting offline and getting out and keeping up with traffic from a stop. So I actually have never needed more power than the 143 horsepower when I'm driving in town. So we're going to put it in power mode now, and we're going to torque brake it and go. This thing is fast, and you can just feel the heft of it. Well, there's 70 already. 4.63 seconds. So Volvo wasn't kidding when they said around 4.5 seconds, 0 to 60. I was fighting a little bit for traction on the front wheels with the torquey gasoline motor, and over 300 horsepower going to the front wheels. It is definitely quick, and it is mated to an 8-speed auto from Aishin, which is one of Toyota's main transmission manufacturers. So I guess you kind of have that Japanese reliability for the transmission in here, but really you're not using the transmission all that much because the electric motor is not tied to that transmission in fully electric mode. The vehicle is very quiet, and that's what you're expecting out of a luxury vehicle going about 55-60 miles per hour here. A little bit of wind noise. I'm actually getting very little from the road. I'm very removed from the road, even though I have pretty big 20-inch wheels on here. The air suspension on here is excellent. Is it worth the money upgrade? that's going to be up to you. Maybe drive one with and without it back to back to see if it's going to be worth it. But it feels way smoother in here, way more luxurious than the XC90 does, with the air ride suspension on the XC90 as well. So overall, it's a very luxurious ride, very smooth, very quiet, soaks up all the bumps. It doesn't handle all that great though. Using the battery mode to kind of do the regen there, you feel the heft of it. I feel like the seats, even though you can control the bolstering, and here it doesn't. I do feel like I want to fly out of my seat when I push this vehicle hard. You can see the orange is starting to ripen in the orange groves here. Very pretty sight. But what's the responsiveness like once you're already up to speed? Well, I'm going to keep it in hybrid mode because most people are going to be staying in hybrid mode or pure mode. 3, 2, 1, pedal down. There's a massive delay, then it just rocket ships forward after that. So it reminds me a lot of the RX 500H with the E-axle in the back. You get an initial shove from that electric motor in the rear while you're waiting for the 8-speed auto to downshift and take off. However, in the RX 500H, even though it's a hybrid, it's not a plug-in hybrid, that 6-speed in there is much more responsive than this 8-speed auto is. Using this to drive my kids to school in B mode has just been super easy to modulate my speed in traffic. It's so smooth. It's smoother than using the friction brakes and a gas pedal. It's just, Volvo has nailed down the one pedal driving to perfection. I haven't driven any other electric car or hybrid that has one pedal driving down as good as Volvo and Polestar. And it's surprising to me that it's so good in a plug-in hybrid. Even when I'm fully out of electric range, the battery mode still makes this vehicle drive perfect with one pedal. It's quite an engineering feat. I would say I have big Ultima energy behind me, but I think that's actually a Sentra. And I want to hear this CVT go by me. It's actually pretty quiet. No, it was an Ultima. It was big Ultima energy. I'm going to demonstrate how easy it is to just use one pedal to come to a stop from speed. So I'm at about 55 miles an hour. I'm going to be taking a left up here. And I start pulling off of the gas pedal, and the vehicle is just shaving off speed very smoothly. And if I want more braking force, I keep retracting my foot off of the gas pedal, and then my foot never has to have to leave the pedal, and I'm just back pressing it back down to accelerate it again. It's really, really good. And like I said, it's surprising that Volvo has been able to incorporate such excellent electric vehicle mannerisms into a gasoline co-powered vehicle. But this is loaded to the gills, nearly 75K, and the Ultimate you can get for the upper 60s. But like I said, this has the air suspension, the Bowers & Wilkins sound system, upgraded metallic paint, etc. I don't think this XC60 Ultimate with all these bells and whistles is a good deal at nearly $75,000. I can get a Lexus NX 450h Plus for under $60,000, and it has all the safety features, all the amenities that this vehicle does have. I know it doesn't have an air suspension, but it rides well. It's not quite as luxurious feeling or quite as quiet probably as this vehicle, but it gives you all the features that this vehicle does, I would say, for a lesser price. It doesn't have the same amount of performance, like straight line performance, but it does have the same amount. Actually, I would say it has more electrified performance because you have electric motors on the rear and the front on the NX plug-in hybrid. And you're able to get probably a little bit more electric range out of it than this vehicle, but they're close. They have similar sized battery packs. So I would be skipping the Ultimate version of this XC60 Recharge. I'd be getting the Plus, which gives me the safety features like the radar cruise control and highway pilot assist, as well as a 360 camera. I think that's the best deal for the XC60 Recharge, and you can get that for the mid 60s, and you can get into a base model and give up a few things for the low 60s, which I think is impressive. And another thing that is beneficial for the Volvo plug-in hybrid over like the Lexus plug-in hybrid is its availability. even though it costs a little bit more on average, it's so much easier to get than the NX plug-in hybrid, at least at the time of this recording. When I went to cars.com, like, there are local dealers around me that have plenty of XC60 recharges, and you know, I'm not waiting for an order. I'm not waiting for availability for an NX plug-in hybrid. So I think that's one of the strong suits in the buying market for the Volvo plug-in hybrids, is that there's a lot of them, they're readily available, and they offer a lot of performance and luxury, even though they're kind of pricey. So what would your preference be? Would you rather have an NX 450h Plus plug-in hybrid or this Volvo XC60 Recharge? Whether it's an Ultimate or not, that's another discussion altogether, but let me know which option you would be going for. They both have their merits, and this one definitely has more performance and more luxury, but I am missing a few features, like an automated steering wheel that ties to the memory seats is just kind of mind-blowing to me. But I'm gonna end it there. Let me know your questions down below. I'll also be doing a nighttime drive of this Volvo XC60 if you want to see the Thor's hammer lights and the iconic D-pillar tail lights at what they look like at nighttime, as well as the ambient lighting inside the cabin. I'll catch you guys out in the next one. Thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned for more Volvo news. Have a great day.